Awesome. So, hello everyone. I think this is 2 in 2, so it's the first time. So, thanks for joining in, and we're back on another interesting topic following from what we spoke yesterday. So, so if you remember, if you had a chance to check out the session yesterday on business transformation and Industry 5.0 from Christine and Pavitran, uh, we'll leave a link to that so you can go back and sort of listen to that. And just extending from what we spoke yesterday, so primarily what Christine and Pavitran spoke about was the whole the business transformation aspect, like in terms of how having a human-centric digital transformation approach towards different aspects of the whole journey, and how that sort of combines with uh, different areas in the business, which we currently look at Industry 5.0, for example. Right? So, and she also spoke about how only about 30% of the organizations typically succeed or even see any sort of impact from their transformation journeys. And but at the same time, when it's done right, it can bring a lot of benefits, right? So and also how the technology piece that sort of lays the foundation towards the whole transformation was very sort of well highlighted, right? So today we will be delving a little more into the technical aspect of application modernization. So we did hear from Pavitran a little more on the IT modernization, but today it will be more on the application side of things, right? Like in terms of how OEMs and ISVs typically look at their modernization journeys from maintaining their applications and their platforms, for example. Right? And to sort of talk about this, I have with me two of our senior technical directors, Dharma and Setu, and I think we're in good hands to sort of understand different aspects of this. How do we go about this? What are the different strategies and things like that? So I have a few interesting questions lined up for this topic. So before I get into the details, maybe I'll let the speakers introduce themselves. So maybe Dharma, if you want to go first.
Yeah, sure, Nitin. Hello, everyone. This is Dharmaraju. I'm working with Utthunga from past 17 years. For the past 17 years, I played various roles and took the different responsibility. Currently, I'm representing a software business unit at Utthunga as a senior director. My team is capable of delivering OT software application which are based on device integration standards, OPC standards, and other communication protocol based standards. And we are providing services on asset management application development, mobile application development, SCADA applications, even enterprise and cloud solutions, test automation services, and AI based solutions to their customer. That's the quick introduction about me.
Awesome. Thanks, Dharma. I think so. We'll cover about how uh, all those different applications that you spoke about, and with your experience dealing with a lot of customers and different use cases and problem statements over the years, will definitely give us a bigger picture into how you approach things as well as how you work with customers on that front. So maybe Setu, I'll let you introduce yourself first.
Yeah. Greetings to all. I'm Sivansethu, and I have been serving at Utthunga for over 15 years now. During my tenure, I actively participated and made significant contribution to specification group like OPC, FCC, FTT. My role has involved designing and creating a diverse range of enterprise OT applications, including EMS, OFM, and asset and its health management system for various OEMs. I've been instrumental in drafting framework for application modernization, specializing in migrating monolithic legacy application to modular multi-tenant SaaS application. Presently, I'm focused in pioneering the integrating of immersive visualization technology with the data engineering powered by AI and GenAI technology to deliver innovative solution to our consumers. Yeah.
Great. Thanks, Setu. I think so. I think without too much ado, we'll get into it, right? So again, application modernization, like we heard about from Christine as well, like where it's a journey, but at the same time, there are different reasons on why companies would like to sort of embark on them in maintaining their applications, right? So it could be from a cost perspective, an efficiency perspective, in terms of how to operationalize that better, and of course, different aspects of maintenance and life cycle and all of these different areas that we typically see. But so let's probably look at in terms of how do you sort of address these typical areas, right? So before you even start, so maybe Dharma, if you can highlight to us, uh, how do you sort of evaluate a typical modernization journey, and where do you start from, and what are these sort of critical areas that OEMs and ISVs typically look at, and some of these areas that they should possibly also look at when they before they decide on something like a significant journey from a modernization standpoint.
Yeah, sure, Nitin. See, assessment is one of the critical phase for the application modernization journey or in the workflow. Basically, the various parameters will be considered for the assessment, whether that legacy application is qualifiable for the modernization or not. I'm going to touch upon a few parameters which will be considered as part of the assessment phase. One is on the technical side. So we have to look at the inventory of the legacy application from the organization side, and we have to categorize them into prioritized or not low priority legacy applications based on the business use cases and the objectives. So once we categorize them as critical applications, we have to look at the technical aspects for the assessment, whether the legacy application design and architecture is scalable and flexible to meet the future business use cases and objectives. And even the legacy applications are extendable to future requirements from the end customers. And even we should look at the legacy applications are using any legacy technology with it, which is something obsolete or very tough to get the skill set to maintain the applications.
Mhm.
And apart from that, the other parameter is we have to look at usability of the application. So whether the application has a better workflow and user experience, and it's been developed based on user experience standards or not. Another parameter is all about cybersecurity, which is something very critical in the current software world. So we have to look at whether the legacy application is having any vulnerability or threats, and is it implemented using any cybersecurity best practices, and if it is having any sensitive data, whether the data is encrypted and provide access in a secure way. We have to look at all these aspects. And another parameter in the assessment phase is all about business use cases and objectives. Ultimately, this will decide the modernization journey of any legacy applications. So, in this category, the first parameter is all about what are the best features of the legacy application, which is something we need to retain, and feature that is something we can make it obsolete, and some desired features the customers are looking at. So we have to identify those them and assess them. And apart from that, what is the cost involved for the modernizing the application? uh, by looking at that, I think the organization is ready to invest or not, that can be decided. And also, what is the revenue is going to get out of modernizing the application by giving you best features to the end customers, and better operational efficiency, and then better user experience. Along with that, another key aspect here is whatever legacy application is there, is it something uh, if it is based on what is the cost associated with the legacy application and the complexity of the technology is used in legacy application. The other category, or I can say the parameter, is all about the current infrastructure, what is being used in the legacy application. In order to go for the modernization, what additional infrastructure, what additional tools are required for the modernization journey, that also we need to assess and keep it ready. So there are many other parameters. Considering the time constraint, I just took few
Sure.
parameters for the assessment. Ultimately,
Sure.
this assessment report will decide the modernization journey of the legacy application.
Awesome, awesome. Thanks, Dharma. So I think you touched upon the technical aspect, the business aspect as well, because both have to make sense and how this can come together, right? So
Yeah.
for us to sort of possibly visualize this in a better way to understand the whole journey, right? So typically, when you embark on an application modernization assessment or a typical business case, uh, can
Mhm.
you outline some sort of a roadmap so that that can sort of bring better clarity and sort of visibility into the whole journey, right? Like how so that it's very clear, and that makes it much more simple for the adoption and the implementation to happen. So if you can give us maybe a reference point from that, that will be good to sort of relate to.
Sure, Nitin. Maybe I would like to answer your question by presenting workflow slide. I'm going to present my slide. Yeah. So, hope it is visible.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay. So, as I told, the assessment is the phase one in our application modernization journey. I already touched about a few pointers here, and I don't want to repeat. I want to take up some of the pointers or parameters which are considered as part of assessment. So, stakeholder engagement is critical. The stakeholder buy-in is very critical for the modernization journey. During the assessment, we have to clearly define what is the outcome from the modernization we are going to do, and what are the challenges or risks are associated with that, and what is the cost and what is the revenue we are going to get out of it. So then on the stakeholders buy-in, I think we will get it, and then we can get a go ahead for the modernization journey. Along with that, the migration readiness assessment is critical. The legacy applications are using different programming languages, different tools. Okay, so it is very critical to assess what migration strategy we can apply for each component which are being developed in a monolithic way or using different technology tools. So that should be available, and ultimately the TCO report uh, that should be available, which emphasize on what is the cost required for procuring the tools or license which are required for the modernizing application, what is the infrastructure is required, and what is the cost or what is the revenue we are going to get out of it. And the other critical aspect in the assessment phase is identifying the risk for the modernization journey. Um, Usually, the legacy applications will be running always, and how the modernization process is going to disturb the existing business use cases and objectives. That has to be analyzed thoroughly, and prepare a plan to execute in such a way that the ongoing business should not get impacted. The other thing is um, the people side, where the people are ready to adopt new technology best practices and upskill themselves and contributing to modernization as well. And there will be a core business logic in the legacy application which could be written in any language to protect that, or else rewriting it's something critical. So we have to look at uh, the core business logic, which is something IP based, how that can be reused in the modernization journey. As part of modernization process, the step two is mobilize. Basically, in this phase we will talk about uh, planning and strategy, and we will work on some prototypes and feasibility study. So in the planning phase, we will clearly define what is the outcome is expecting as part of the modernization application with clearly defined risk and mitigation plan and dependencies. And in the migration plan, we will use the standard 7R strategy, like recreate or redesign or refactor or drop the application from the modernization. So these migration plan we have to clearly define for each component of the legacy application. And as part of this phase, we are going to do a POCs or prototypes or feasibility study, which are based on the business goals. Ultimately, uh, if our feasibility study is not coming positively, definitely there are chances of pausing that modernization phase, because there is no point in investing on modernization without addressing the business goals. Okay. So once this phase is clear, then based on the legacy application, team is going to identify the tools and what are the skills are required for developing the or modernizing the application. So based on that, the proper hierarchy, the team is defined, like what are the people should be involved from the architecture and design point of view, the program manager, project management and development team, and cybersecurity engineers as well as architects. And in terms of infrastructure, uh, as assessed in the assessment phase, here we are going to define uh, what is the IT infrastructure is required for the modernization journey, what are the additional tools and software components and licenses are required. And also we will identify what are the infrastructure is required to meet cloud service or cloud native cloud infrastructure, microservice based architecture and serverless architecture. Okay. Once this planning phase is ready with uh, clearly defined scope of work, then we will move on to implementation phase, that is migrate and modernize. Here we are going to set up development environment and then test bed environment. And using 7R strategy, we are going to um, recreate the components or else reuse and lift and shift the components, and then re-engineering the architecture if required, if components are not feasible. And we will refactor code as well. So along with these activities will be happening in a iterative way or agile way. And we are going to use the best practices like DevSecOps and then CI/CD pipeline for automated build creation and automated validation of cybersecurity aspects, and generate a report. So ultimately, this helps the team to work in a collaborative way and improve the productivity. Once these iterations are happening, and ultimately we will be having a minimum viable product, which can be um, ready for the basic testing from the customer side or else from the system side, and that will be hosted in the cloud, and testing can be performed. Once uh, it is ready for the release, we will go for the formal deployment in the production server. So we will have a plan to go for production that will be executed. The go live strategy will be executed, and clearly we will define IT governance to manage the tickets from the customer by defining different L1, L2, L3 layers. And based on the SLA, the tickets will be addressed using ticket management system. And we will have migration and monitoring and optimization team that and cybersecurity team, which will keep monitoring the application to ensure that the critical KPIs, performance and load will be taken care. And if any uh, risk or cybersecurity incidents are happened, this team is always available to take care of incident management. And if they are not able to address, then they will take required support from the technical team and address on the priority. And we will have a feedback system as part of the manage phase. The product owner or the stakeholder who is responsible for product release, they will collect the feedback uh, in a frequent way from the customers and keep them in the product backlog. And then they will uh, go through that requirements and execute in the phase manner. In that case, we'll go back by step 2 and step 3, and we'll go for the formal release. This is how this complete process of modernization will be executed. Yeah.
Great. Thanks, Dharma. I think that was pretty detailed and based on the four steps that you spoke about, pretty clear in terms of how you go about
Hmm.
doing that. Right? Sorry.
Okay.
So maybe over to Setu. So we'd like to sort of understand uh, through this entire application modernization journeys, right? So there might be some specific strategies that you employ in terms of when you have that seamless transition, right? To ensure that there's no business impact from legacy to modern. What are some of these strategies that you've typically implemented? What are some of these areas that you can share some more light so that we understand?
Yes, Nitin. See, migration from legacy application to next-gen modern application will provide a significant business benefit in terms of increasing the customer base, bringing the resilient and sustainability and better visibility of the business, right? Among the couple of strategy, I start with the first one. It's about inter and cross-functional collaboration. Which is bring that have open communication between various business unit like embedded team, software development team, data engineering team, and digital IT and other relevant stakeholders to ensure alignment of objectives and mitigate the resistance to change and facilitate the knowledge sharing, right? And before going to the second strategy, I would like to open that slide, which talk about Savana strategies. Just before Dharma said, where what are the systems or components or supporting applications which need to be retained, require rehosting, replatforming, refactoring, something rearchitecturing required, and the retention of unused some of the business functions. Yeah.
Mhm.
And the third strategy is about, we can say, IBB, incremental building block, where breaking the transition into smaller manageable phases, right? And prioritize the models based on the three conditions about business values, technical feasibility, and of course the risk. Yeah. See, the next strategy, the fourth strategy, I can say UCD, user-centric design. Everybody knows that, which is focus the superior user experience with intuitive interfaces and improved performance and enhanced functionalities. Right. The fourth, fifth, the point I can say technology selection, which is very very important. The right selection of tools and technologies is important in terms of the support period, reliability, and scalable with modern infrastructure. Yeah. The sixth point I can say is data migration and integration. The selection of suitable database type, it will be group or a graph or document based or a database based, will be decided and ensure that data integrity, consistency, and the main part security throughout the migration process, right? And implement the robust integration solution to seamlessly connect legacy and modern systems, enabling data exchange between the legacy and the different systems involved. Yeah. The seventh point I can say is about training and skill development. Right. See, once we moved from the legacy systems to modern application, and one of the main point is we have to invest in training and skill development program to equip our people resources with the knowledges and expertise required to work with modern technology and methodology, of course. Yeah. The eighth point I can say change management. See, I can say change management is practices to facilitate the transition and manage the resistance to challenge changes, right? And communicate the team the benefit of modernization to the stakeholders and the clients who are we are working with, and addresses the concern proactively and provide supports and resources to facilitate the adaptation. Yeah. The ninth point is very, very important. Why we are doing the modernization, right? See, one of the strategy should be their performance monitoring and optimization, where monitoring the KPIs like performance of the modern application, how much load it's handled, and other KPIs, which is important for the business to grow very closely and identify the areas of optimization. Yeah. The 10th point I can say compliance and security. We should ensure compliance with regulation and standards throughout the transition process. Yeah. And implement robust security measures to protect the sensitive data and mitigate the cyber security risk. That's what one of the main um, case we have to consider when we do the modernization. Yeah, of course. The last one is about the continuous improvement. See, it is an ongoing process. It cannot be done in at one time, right? And we have to encourage the culture of continuous improvement, okay, and evaluate and refine the modern application to address the need and the technology advancement and market dynamics. Yeah, this is the some strategies we have to follow, and we followed, and we can see the benefit of it. Yeah.
Got it. Thanks, Satu. I think you summarized that pretty well, right? Like in terms of there are different aspects and different strategies itself that can come together independently uh, to ensure the smooth transition from legacy to modern applications. So I think the probably my last most interesting question for today, right? Like in terms of everyone talking about uh, AI and Gen AI and all of these new things, and uh, what how do you think these technology areas can streamline the modernization journey itself, right? Like in terms of have you encountered any of these situations? If so, uh, what role does it have to play? How any sort of interesting use cases that you can think of would be great to hear on that.
Yeah. See, the current generative AI and AI model, right, brings a lot of value in process and project and support management system, right? For example, identifying the right resources and the correct infrastructure and right technology for the modern application, right? Instead of going with, for example, taking an one of example, instead of going with traditional test automation, use AI-based test automation yes, tools and the solutions wherever possible, which definitely reduces the time for verification validation. Okay, and offload some of the manual work or which consuming more time during the development, where we can use these AI or GenAI based tools. It increase the track the task, automate the team meetings, delivers the periodic projects insights. Some of the benefits actually we can get it through these AI models or AI or can I say Gen AI models, right? Still, these are evolving, and going forward, actually in the next decades, this will play a big role in application modernization journey. Yeah.
Great. Thanks, Setu. I think we're just on time. Maybe let's see if we can get some final questions. I think before that, maybe if Dharma, if you have some final points, feel free to share. And if any questions come in, I'll point it out.
Yeah, sure. Maybe I just want to conclude on how we can optimize the TCO.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is something interesting topic. Okay, so entire modernization journey is depends on the TCO. Okay, but it's very critical to optimize the TCO. Uh, there are many parameters which can be used to reduce or optimize the TCO. One is the entire modernization journey is based on it's based on latest technology and trends. So these technologies having built-in frameworks and no code frameworks and copilot based support and GenAI based support already it's available. Using that, definitely we can reduce the development effort, and we can complete the task with less time, so that ultimately contributing to optimizing the TCO. The another thing is the cyber security wise, it's very critical. A secure application is must requirement, and that will help us to get into financial things. Suppose if we if our application is not handle ransomware attacks or not following the cybersecurity standards. And since our modernization architecture is mainly based on microservice architecture, even if any one service is down, the other services will be up and running, and ultimately the overall downtime will be less. And even addressing the down service will be quicker, as we are using very small services, and developer can quickly fix it and provide a patch. So ultimately, it leads to less downtime and yielding more revenue. There are many other aspects to optimize the TCO. I'm just touch base on few parameters.
Great. Thanks, Dharma. So I think no questions as of now. If it does come in, we can reply to them on the comment section. So I think thanks, guys. Again, just a little over time, but thank you for joining. Thanks for making time to listen to us. I think so. We'll have a couple more interesting sessions to follow this up, like in terms of from this whole modernization theme, right? Like in terms of just sort of give you a context into how this comes about, right? Like a couple of interesting use cases of how these different strategies and all of that actually articulates into use case solution for a particular industry customer. So we'll cover that in the next session. So until that, I think thank you for joining, and like always, thanks Dharma, and thanks Itu for lending your insights, and we look forward to hearing from you soon as well. And thanks everyone, and
Thank
we'll
you.
talk to you.
Yeah, thank you.